We are live. That's what it's telling me. Good evening, everybody. We're just waiting for uh, for YouTube to catch up so we can check audio. Christ, that is a.
That's quite a lag.
I've got 24 seconds, 30 seconds here. What the fuck's going on? There we go. Bloody hell. Over 30 seconds lag, people, between StreamYard and YouTube. Sound all right over there? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we're good. We're off and running. Well, good evening, everybody. Jen, Stitch, Missy, Little Stitch. Scar, good evening.
I don't know, is there's 30 seconds difference? I think it was more, it took 30
Seconds to
for you
go
connect
live,
through.
yeah. Bleach Demon. G. Bennett. There's a new name.
Is that Gordon?
Is that Gordon Bennett? I had a mate back home called Gordon Bennett.
Is Gordon Bennett a national thing or a Birmingham thing?
No. It's a national thing. Did you call me a 30-second slack? No, I always. That's. Oh, it's Matt. Oh, all right, Matt. No worries. The man of many personas. Evening, Stuart. Marines at 1, 2, 3. Good evening. Well, we have got some things to talk about tonight, haven't we? With everything that's been going on. Not been on YouTube for a while. No, that's all right, Matt. Oh, Christ, my voice is going already. No worries, mate. I'll let you all say good evening to each other. Let a few more drop in. We've got 16 watching. So good evening, lurkers.
I know.
I dare say my chief lurker's in the background there somewhere.
Hi, Scar.
Well, I think tonight we'll start with a good one. The Eurovision. What an absolute fucking disgrace that was. I have never seen a bigger bag of shit in my life. And I've got to say it, the Irish entry that was up there with the worst of them. Had to be. I mean, anybody with a name like Bambi Thug. YouTube and media. Yeah, it is, Matt. It is, mate. I mean, the shit that's coming out of the house now. Who cares? Exactly, Moo. Well, we're not quite sure because it was apparently gender neutral, so we don't know whether it was a male or a female, but it looked like a chick with a dick, so I got a pretty good idea. Funny how they went for a winner from a so-called neutral country, though. We won. Good evening, sweetheart. Bag push. Yeah, exactly, Jen.
Oh, I'm bloody touch.
I had a hard day at the caravan power washing. Took 3 hours. Yeah, trouble is with power washing caravans, Stuart. You can blow the seals out of some of the joints in the panels. I've had that in the past. Karen, good evening, darling. But yeah, the Eurovision. I mean, I didn't watch it. I've seen clips on YouTube of some of the so-called contestants, if you can call them that. I mean, it's nothing like the Brotherhood of Man, was it? Half of them didn't need to pull any clothes off. But what a degenerate show. Honestly, I mean, how a channel can even pick that up and put it out is beyond me. Rob, good evening, mate. Yeah, not too bad. A bit of a hoarse throat again, but I am a bit knackered. I didn't have the kip this afternoon, and Heather's been out. He's actually only just gone. Actually, a mate of ours has been servicing the car for us. Yeah, nothing like Bucks Fizz. But there again, you go back to people like, I go back as far as Dana, Mary Hopkins, and people like that. Anti-white reproduction. Yeah, it was a stage for making political statements from different countries, basically, Matt. That's what I saw there. Is the wokeness trying to affirm the gender shit. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you sit down to piss, you're a woman. If you stand up, you're a bloke. You know what I mean? But yeah, there was a lot of that and a lot of political messages in there as well. But although I don't dive into it, I don't follow it, I have got opinions on it, but I thought a lot of people were going to vote for Israel, which they didn't. The fact that Britain didn't get any votes, if I remember rightly.
Don't care.
But yeah, don't care. Don't care. It was an absolute bag of shite. Yeah, that's what I saw, Jen. As far as I know, nil point or whatever it is. Yeah, but the Irish one, that was just absolutely. I mean, that made me think of years and years ago of James Arthur Brown and fire. I bring you fire. That's what I saw there. I mean, she's probably quite a nice looking girl once you wipe all the shit off and take all the bits off her, but I haven't seen a picture of her other than dressed like that. And
well, the metalwork's permanent.
Is it?
Piercings all over the place.
Oh, wow, fuck that then. No, she looked a right man. I mean, how somebody could go on a stage like that, a worldwide stage looking like that.
You forgive them, Mo.
I mean, even punks weren't that bad, were they?
It's not compulsory. Nothing's compulsory.
True extent. Yes, he was, Matt. Absolutely. Absolute head case. And there was a video, I don't know whether it's still about, that was cut out of that video because when the stagehand actually soaked his horns, it was actually petrol. And what they didn't realise, he dripped a load down his neck and onto his shoulders. They put it out within a second or two, but then they had to relight him again as it was.
Relight my fire.
Yeah, well, even that weren't too bad compared to that, was it? It looked like some production from Vincent Price, in the middle of the woods somewhere. Yeah, he was. He was a nutcase anyway, Matt. Drone, good evening, mate. But next year, Mrs. W for Eurovision.
Need somebody to write the song for me, though.
Oh, dear. Right, there's no need for that banner up there, really. Everybody knows how I run the channel. So but no, I'm sure we could do better. Well, I think any country could, looking at this year's entries. It was just a freak show. Absolute bloody freak show. Right, let's put that down for a minute because that's only going to make me my throat worse. But yeah, no. Moving on. I'm going to start calling him a dictator, actually, Dictator Roland. His little speech at the beginning, I don't know whether anybody else saw it. I want to keep the country safe, protect our borders, by absolutely doing nothing to keep it that way. For those that do watch the videos, obviously, I gave him my reply on there and threw down the challenge to him. Obviously, I'm not going to hear back from him. I'd like to. I'd like him to turn up on my doorstep so I can ask him some questions, because he wouldn't get away with sidestepping them. And there is some real bad news which has come out now. It looks like the WHO treaty, the World Health Organization, where they're going to take all control away from all the countries in the event of another medical emergency. It looks like they're going to vote on it on the 27th of this month. No more debates. Andrew Bridgen wanted another debate on it because obviously it concerns everybody. Personally, I think, and a lot of other people are thinking the same, that we should have a referendum on it. It shouldn't be down to the government to decide this. It should be us, the people. Now, my reasoning for that is, okay, we know about what's going on with the different groups and minorities that are slowly becoming the majority in this country. A lot of those are against it as well. So I believe we should have a referendum on it, but we won't get it, unfortunately. It's yeah. And if the WHO get that through and we sign up for that treaty, basically, even a flu outbreak, they will be able to mandate jabs. Now, the fact is, a mandate isn't legally binding unless both parties agree, and I certainly wouldn't agree to it. But a political party in power, voted in by the people, they have the power to accept it, unfortunately, because you give them the right to act on our behalf. Good evening, Ray. Same with everything that they do. And Sunak knows this, and he uses it to his advantage. And I've said this before, when it comes to election time, a lot of people will vote for the independents that are out there and the smaller parties. Well, that will actually do no good at all, because they still won't get anywhere near the main two players. So it will always come down to them and their supporters. So whoever's got the biggest majority in that camp will win. And at the moment, everything seems to be swinging Labour's way. Not a good thing, but there again, neither are the Tories. So, we're between a rock and a hard place. It's who do you think is going to do the least amount of damage? The fucking idiot that's in power now, or Starmer? I do believe the Tories would stand a better chance if they got rid of Sunak and put another leader in, give somebody else a chance. But he's that much of an arrogant bastard. They will have to vote him out. He will not step aside. They will have to get rid of him. But I do believe we're going to lose some more, because they're putting in a movement now that any MP, now this is confusing with the wording on this, any MP that has been arrested, what was it? Not proven but arrested concerning a serious offence will be removed. They don't have to be convicted, but if
On
they've been arrested
suspicion.
on suspicion alone, if they've been arrested, they will be removed. And now that I would like to see.
Unfortunately, there's nothing that specifies what counts as a serious crime.
Well, they're already looking at getting the SNP thrown out, or we cranky and useless anyway. But yeah, I mean, this was something that pissed me off, Ray. Starmer stood up there and gave his fucking speech. Oh yeah, we want to stop them coming. You won't come into this country illegally. You'll be arrested and removed. So he's saying he's fallen in line with Roland on that. But then people forget that he was one of the lawyers that stood in court a lot of times fighting for the immigrants' rights and telling them ways around the laws and immigration so they could stay. Yeah, Dictator Khan. Well, he's killed London. London is gone to me now. It's lost. It's not our capital city, and it's no longer an English city with that prick in charge, as far as I'm concerned.
Jimmy, do you have a note?
You carry on, Rob. No worries. Who?
Jimmy said sorry he was late. I said, does he have a note?
No worries, Jimmy. No worries. We will accept a doctor's note or one from your mother. The rest of the effing lot of them. Yeah, I would. I mean, if they're saying if they've been arrested, maybe this is the issue. Arrested, accused of it. Then, yeah. Now, if you've just been said and you've been caught out at it but not arrested, then people like Matt Hancock, what's his name, Stab It All, Javid, Whitty, the little weasel, Patrick, what's his fuck, the lot of them should absolutely be thrown out of the house for what they've done. And the thing is, the evidence there to prove what they did, that was all brought out during the COVID inquiry, and it's still coming out now what they did. What about £10 notes? Well, with the way it's going, Moo, the BRICS and other entities, it looks like they're going to start pushing now for cashless society, which is going to fuck everybody up, to be honest. Check out Rockley versus Gareth Suicide Boys. South Banging Tune. But I don't listen to that sort of music, to be honest, Matt. If I do listen, it's old school rock. Starmer and Power could bring this country to... Yeah, Scott, I mean, Sunak would absolutely destroy the country with what he wants to do. And that's the difference. It's going to be a slow death through Sunak, or it will be a quick death by Starmer. Personally, I'd rather have the quick death. Let's fuck the country right up and restart it. And the sooner that's done, as far as I'm concerned, the better, to be honest. Because carrying on like we're going, it's getting nowhere. I mean, you've still got fucking idiots stood up there in the House saying, yo, we want more people to come in. Well, the NHS is just about screwed. And I have it on good authority. I won't say from who, but I have been seeing information and chatting to one or two people, and I don't think the NHS is going to last much longer either. So basically, we're looking at what they wanted to do, which probably would be an American-style health system. where you'd be forced to either have insurance to pay for it or you'd get next to nothing. I mean, they're even picking and choosing who they want to take to hospital now. So you can expect that to get a lot worse. Yeah, many people do bleach demon. Many people do. I think I said to you in the week in a comment about my experiences with them. This was just after the bypass when I had that. I got taken in with chest pains, which at the time could have been a possible heart attack due to the operation and blood clots and shit like that. Now, they left me in a room for 3 days without even seeing a doctor, and they wouldn't give me any pain relief until I'd seen a doctor. So after 3 days, I'd had enough. I told them I was leaving. They can fuck their little book that you got to sign to walk out. Oh, well, we can find it. We'll get a doctor up here now for you. I said, it's too fucking late. I've been laid here 3 days in pain. I'm going home where I've got the painkillers. Bye-bye. And I literally walked out. They couldn't stop me doing it. They threatened to call security. I said, well, call them. I said, I know them all. I said, even though I'm in pain and just had a major operation, I'd probably lay half of them out if they put a finger on me, which they can't. The only way they can keep you in hospital is if you're sectioned. Yeah, okay, maybe I should be sectioned at times, but I wasn't then. Yeah, it's going to get worse, Moo, and before long, mate, it's going to hit the fan. I think the biggest tell will be, I think it's the 1st of June, the big rally in London. Now, if the police fuck everybody around about that and they go in heavy-handed like they're doing, I think that's going to erupt, to be honest. Yeah, it's not the nurses, Matt. I mean, I go up there, I'm up again next Tuesday for my next round of treatment. Now, I'd speak to the nurses in there. I know them. Those that have been there a while, I knew from when I worked there. And they're all saying the same thing, that, you know, they're not looking forward to what's coming because they're the ones, not like the real young ones in there now, but the ones I talk to are the ones that took the job as a vocation because they wanted to help people. They weren't there for the money. But the ones that are going into nursing now and what, it's for this. And I'm sorry for the foreigners that have come in and got work there, but I will not have anybody treating me that can't understand what I'm fucking saying. I.e., they need to be able to understand and speak English. Yeah, a lot of it's going to be pay. They're trying to do away with free prescriptions for us oldies as well. Yeah, the what they call the graveyard shift, Ray. They are a totally different kettle of fish. Depends what sort of ward you're on, what you're in for. But in some cases, you get next to no care whatsoever on a night shift. I mean, I was in, was it when I had the blood clot? There was a chap in there. He was causing all sorts of fucking mayhem and they wouldn't do nothing about him. He only had one leg, but he was going mad, going mental at everybody. And I just told him, I said, look, you either do something about him, put him under, put him on something. I said, because if it goes on tonight, I said, I'm going to knock the twat out. And I would have done. 3 strips of 3,500 from a neighbour, 399. Well, I was on tramadol for a long time, bleach demon. And they wouldn't give me enough for what I needed on my prescription, obviously, because of the strength of it. But I won't mention who, but I knew somebody that was on it and didn't take it. They never liked to take it. It was a pensioner. And all of a sudden, I got given loads and loads of boxes of it. So I had enough to see me through. I still think I've got a couple of racks of it upstairs, but with this blood condition, I've got to be very, very careful what I take. I can't even take antacid tablets like Renes and shit like that. That can really screw me up, apparently. Well, you're saying that, Scar. Sadly, I think it was Pfizer or one of the big farmers that are doing trials at the moment. I can't remember what it was for, but they're trialing kids. And sadly, one died last week. That was kept very quiet. Me being me, didn't keep it quiet. I did put it in a video. But there are more and more people now that are standing up, and those that have been injured are suing the government. They're trying to sue Pharma, but in this country they can't because of the Damage by Vaccines Act 1976. The only ones that will pay any compensation, they will pay it, is us, because the government pay it. They don't charge Big Pharma for it. But in the States, it's a bit different, I believe. There are several thousand cases already being bought against a lot of the manufacturers. But the other problem is now is who do you sue? Because they issue different ones in different GP surgeries, different test centres, and some people had a mixture of several different ones because they were told it was safe to do so. So if they've been injured by it, you're not going to know which one. It could have been one or two. And all the so-called cancer wonder drugs that they're coming up with now that they're trialing, they're all based on the same sort of processes as the jibby jabby. Got a COPD, they're trying to kill us. You can go into the system, Flyby, and cancel those. I used to get a lot of texts for the vaccines and also the flu jab. She's probably been out, being as it's a nice day. Matt, she might pop in later. But yeah, and I do actually know somebody who I've got to know quite well now that was actually screwed up and damaged by the flu vaccine, the flu jab. So personally, I've never took it and I never would. Again, it's up to other people whether they take it or not. But there are people out there that have been totally screwed up by it. This is why I say they rushed during the pandemic. They rushed it through. They got it through. They changed the formula before they actually issued it to the general public after it had been deemed safe, even though they were told it wasn't. But all these new wonder drugs they're coming up with are based on the same shit. I mean, to me, that says it all, doesn't it? Really. You can't trust them. Good evening, Mr. Fox. Yeah, I mean, you can't trust them now anyway. You can't trust the NHS. You can't, well, we never could trust the fucking government, but yeah, your GPs, there are ways out there of finding out exactly how many shekels they were given in backhanders for doing what they were doing. That's something else that will be coming out at some point. I know all about it. I've been looking into it. You're only a year older than us two here, Ray. Both of us have got some pretty bad health issues. No, Scar, I don't. I mean, I went in for a tetanus. That was actually during lockdown, wasn't it? When I had that bite.
Yeah, I don't know
when the cat bit me. My cat bit through my thumbnail. She was having a seizure, and I was trying to make sure she wasn't swallowing her tongue or had anything stuck in her throat. And I had to go and have a tetanus. And I made the nurse that was giving it me at the GP surgery show me the file before she actually filled the syringe. She did question it when I told her my reasoning why. She totally understood. And the fact that my consultant, my haematologist consultant, turned around and said if I had have taken anything back then with the issues I've got with my bloods now and have had before, then I probably wouldn't be here. Yet not one of the surgery doctors brought that up when being questioned. Yeah, Flyby, but as we know, did they really take it? Did any of these elites really take it? You know, it's always been a bit of an iffy subject. A lot of people said they took it, but if they did and it worked as it should, surely the fact that allegedly Bojo ended up in hospital with it makes you think, doesn't it? But, you know, at least we can talk a bit openly about it now. Yes, the topic is still heavily censored, believe it or not. We do have to be careful what we say. But a lot of what we talk about now is public knowledge. It was exposed during the COVID inquiry and other inquiries, what went on around it. And now it's being exposed around the world of what was actually going on elsewhere, especially in manufacturing, who was doing what and shit like that. And the fact that it's being talked about in parliaments and governments around the world, you would have thought they'd have seen some sense in it all, but they don't. I don't think any of them see any sense in anything. They certainly don't talk it. Yes, Ray, that farmer was given immunity from vaccine damage. Not this time. It was back in 1976 when they brought out the Damage by Vaccine Act, 1976. But that only, I do believe that's only in force in this country. I haven't looked into the American side of things or elsewhere. But there again, you look at the little countries, was it Switzerland, Iceland, didn't lock down, went about their normal daily life and only had a handful of cases. I think Iceland only had 2. And they were isolated straight away. And that was about it. Scott, I wouldn't be at all surprised, mate, if they were giving placebo saline solutions or whatever. Sweden, was it? Thank you, Ray. Yeah. Yeah, not a problem, Fly. Thank you for watching. I have not doing as many videos at the moment. For some reason, YouTube looks like on my case again. They're not putting me out as much and the viewings have dropped. And as I've seen on the numbers, as soon as I get another 2 or 3 subs, they'll knock another 2 off. But that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? The faceless cowards. They're also, be aware that they do remove comments. I don't get to see them. They do try and hide some. I do my best to find those, and if I do, I'll answer them. If for some reason they won't let it up, then what I do, I have other avenues to see what the comments are and who they're from. And generally, if I find one that way, I will pin a comment as a reply. How can we rebuild the Nightingale hospitals? Exactly, Scott. How many millions and billions was spent on those and the equipment to go in them? Nothing ever got used. Did they just get mothballed? Did they get sold on? I did hear a rumor that they were being sold on to third world countries. But, you know, they had a load of, what are they, the old breathing machines? What are they called? Ventilators. They had boxes and boxes and boxes of those that never got used. Was that because they found that it was doing more damage than good? What they're doing, Ray, is he promised to get them out the hotels, Roland. So what they're doing is they're getting them out the hotels and putting them in camps. Don't believe any of these interviews you see where alleged immigrants are saying, oh, they wouldn't have come if they'd have known about the Rwanda plan. Well, the Rwanda plan is never going to work. It was all bullshit. We saw through it straight away as soon as Rwanda started commenting on it. But those, I'm convinced that just about all of those are crisis actors that mainstream media are hiring, because you don't see who they are, you don't get names, and they've always got their faces covered. Well, if you're being honest, you don't do that. Good evening, Graham. How you doing, buddy? But yeah, everything around it, as Scar put there, it was all mates. I'll throw you a load to make this, that, and the other, and it never appeared. And one of the courts, I think it was the High Court, or was it the High Court, actually said that there was fraudulent dealings around it. Okay, so the court says there was fraudulent dealings. So why has nobody been held accountable? Especially Hancock, the likes of Sunak, who signed the checks off on everything. His mates made an absolute fucking fortune out of him. So did his missus. You know, there's so many fraudulent dealings that went on around this. Why is nobody being held to account? I've always asked that question and nobody seems to be able to answer it. My own MP, he stopped and blocked me from emails a long time ago. I wonder why. Not seen back in. Yeah, and it was all taking advice from the WHO, the WEF, people like Bill Gates. Well, what the fuck does he know about it? He openly admitted the only thing he'd ever done on it was read up on it and read books. Well, they must have been quick written books because nobody had come across it before. So he was just spouting bullshit as far as I'm concerned. But what's really worrying now is where the government got used to rushing through new laws, new acts, you know, all backed up by the government thugs, obviously, the police, because that's all they are now. Today it was announced they're going to give them even more powers. Because all of a sudden, They've just noticed that knife crime's out of control. So they're going to give them more powers under stop and search. Well, what they don't need is more powers. What they need to do is use the powers they've already got properly and sensibly, rather than just, harassing people. Now, they've always said it wasn't a colour thing, because of the amount of minorities that were kicking up about being searched. It was because the areas where those minorities live was the main problem areas. So there was obviously going to be more of those stopped and searched. But now they're going to stop saying and pandering to the fact when somebody cries, "Oh, you stopped me because whatever colour you are." And that's the problem. I haven't got a problem with some of the laws they've been brought in. What I've got a problem with is the way the police interpret them and push them. We know they can't be trusted. We know they're bullies. We know they will hassle you to create a situation or blow a situation out of proportion. We've seen it too many times now. There is one already out there, Ray. I can't remember who put it out, to be honest, at the moment. But there is already one out there. Personally, I think it should be totally rejected. It shouldn't even be considered. They shouldn't even debate it. They should just reject it off of hand. Anything that gives an external source total control of this country should automatically be blocked. Absolutely. But why does this man always step in when it's too late? It's the way politics works, Flyby. As we've seen, they'll push things through late at night so there's no debate or very little debate because there's only half a dozen of them in there. I mean, when Brigham stood up and questioned this about the WHO, there was only a handful of them in the House. And this is what they've done all along. Same as they changed the Damage by Vaccine Act very, very quietly. They couldn't actually repeal it. So what they did was amend it, specifically by changing the amount of compensation that people can claim. And that was greatly reduced. You think about, we've got nobody that's been in charge of this country since they forced Boris out that's actually been elected in as Prime Minister. Yeah, no worries, Graham. Not a problem, mate. Take care, buddy. A lot of them are qualified. Saying there, a lot of them, yeah, they got no medical qualifications, yet they deem they can make medical decisions. That's, yeah, absolutely right. I mean, you've only got to look at what's happened in Slovakia today with the assassination attempt on their prime minister. Georgia, where they want to be in the EU, and the Russians are pushing in there now. That they're passing votes that they want to go back to communism, passing laws, and the people are absolutely standing up and shouting about it, and they're just being taken out by what I would call thugs. They're not police. None of those are police. The only ones that were their police are the ones with the helmets on. The rest of them with the black jackets, no. in Ireland may stop the Catholics more than us Protestants. Yeah, exactly, Stuart. Too many decisions now, like we've seen in the local elections, are being voted on religion, not on who can do the job, not who's best for the job. It's what religion you are. And obviously, the Islamists infiltrated the Green Party. We saw that by the reactions in the areas where they won seats. That is being investigated, by the way. I can't remember what his name was up north that got in, that started shouting, I'll call it Islamic fucking chants. Yeah, he is being investigated. Yeah. She pays attention. What are you doing? Oi.
Is Daddy busy? He's not going to
That's the furry assassin. Somebody called her the other day. You're not going to be chipped, are you? Hmm? They're not going to low jack you, are they? No, because I won't fucking let them.
If she can get out of our garden, I will have her chipped.
Oh no, they want to chip indoor cats as well.
Yeah, in
They've
case
openly
they
said that.
escape.
Yeah.
But if she can get out of our garden, I will have her chipped.
Oh, she can't get out the garden.
I know she can't.
Good evening, Sue. How are you? They're saying you're cute. They don't know you very well, do they? Hey? Want to come up then? Come on then. Come and say hello. Come on then. No, that's not rip the fucking sofa apart. Come on. You're going to come up and say hello?
You haven't put your feet up.
As soon as I turn my back, she'll jump up there. But yeah, they want to low jack all our cats. We've already seen what they're trying to do with dog breeds and stuff like that. But technically, in the eyes of the law, a cat is still a wild animal, would you believe? Yes, Scar, absolutely. The thumbnail today says it all for today's stream. Everything is going down the shitter. It's all there. It's all stacked up around the fucking seat. And it's just waiting for the government to flush, as far as I can tell. That's what I'm seeing anyway. But yeah, I literally can't see where we're going. There's no light at the end of any tunnel, no matter which way you look. The country's been at so many crossroads, but it stays on the roundabout and just goes round in circles.
No one can make a sensible decision.
But nobody's making decisions because one person is overriding everybody. I mean, even the fucking idiot in the headlines today, Gordon Brown, getting back in on the things. Yeah, we kicked him out a long time ago. What's his name? Lord fucking Doodah. He's not even a fucking MP yet. He's going around the world talking on our behalf. Well, sorry, no. If you're not an MP, then you've got no right to talk and make decisions on our behalf because you weren't voted in. Yeah, unfortunately, Stuart, it looks like there's quite a few more heading over there as well. With the way things are. Where's Superman when you need him? Yeah, Guy Fawkes. Yeah, Tony Blair's getting his oar in there as well. Well, brought up soon. They will, Scott, and they'll end up living under Sharia law. that's the way they'd like it. There was another country on about banning the old face covering. I can't remember who it was now. But there's another country that has said that's got to go. I mean, basically, everyone from the young generation now has been indoctrinated and brainwashed unless they've been homeschooled by their parents. And how are they trying to stop all this crime, the explosion in crime? Well, very quietly, they agreed to release a load of prisoners early, didn't they? They're not saying who. The Prison Federation or whatever they are have said, obviously, they're not going to let dangerous people out. Well, most dangerous people at the moment don't need to be let out because they've never been fucking locked up.
I don't know where they are.
And this includes child molesters, sex pests. They've all been just not even ended up there. They just walk out of court. Yeah, okay, they may be tagged and shit like that, but they don't get locked up. Unless you make stickers with an anti-Islamic slogan on it, apparently that can earn you 2 years. Now, he should be out. He shouldn't have been in there in the first place. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the two old biddies that tried to smash through the cabinet where the Magna Carta is allegedly held, which I still believe is a copy. It isn't the original, I don't think. But one of them was a fucking vicar, for crying out loud. That is a premeditated crime. Vandalism, destruction of public property, private property. They went equipped to commit a crime. Now, anybody else should be banged up for that. I bet that's an alert to tell me I'm live. Look, only an hour late. You wait. Yeah, there we go. Fiery Blaze has subscribed to you. How the hell, Jack, did you get up on the panel or comment last week if you weren't already subscribed? Because you'd need to be subscribed for 10 minutes to even comment. Never mind. Yes, Jim. I mean, you know, it's gone very quiet on the grooming gangs, haven't it? They threw a few cases out there, but that seems to have been, shall we say, deflected and covered with smoke and mirrors. We're not hearing a lot of that lately. I mean, you know, they say they want to boost the army. Where are they going to get them from? More importantly, what are they going to get? Looking at about what's out there today. I mean, the only people that would have done a decent job are the ones that have already left. And a lot of those left because of the way they were treated. $47,000 on the watch. Yeah. What's the point? They know what they're doing. I think it was Rochdale police admitted they've got 40 years of evidence. 40 years. Why haven't they done anything with that? You know, a lot of them that are involved have either fucked off or died by now, I'd have thought. But 40 years of evidence and they did nothing with it, even though they knew what was going on. Yes, we know there was some high-ranking police involved in it. We knew there was politicians involved in it. Yes, Scott, there is. And with the way some quarters look, they want this one European army as well, which it's more or less common knowledge that Sunak would want us to go back into the EU, although Tories running in power because people wanted out. And that was the only reason a lot of people voted Tory 14 years ago. Same as I did. First time I've ever voted in my life because it's something I wanted to see what done. But it's took them 14 years and they still haven't done it. Yes, Jen. Absolutely 100%. We've got a friend, or well, Heather's friend than mine. Basically, he got drummed out for being a good cop. He spoke out about some bad ones. He was persecuted and harassed until he left. And even when he was back on Civvy Street and doing a normal job, they were still harassing him. And as far as I know, they still are, because he was asked, would he like to not be on camera, but would he like to come and talk about it and do a video about it with me? And he couldn't. He wouldn't. He said, I can't put my family in danger, which I totally understand and respect to him for that. But this is what they do and the way they do it. And we've already seen most of the little woke fuckers they're joining up now. They just haven't got a clue. They know nothing about life, let alone the law. I mean, the perfect example is that silly little blonde bitch. Oh, you can't sing hymns in public. You've got to be in a church. It's illegal. I mean, what the fuck? It's like that parrot, isn't it? What the fuck? What the fuck? Sorry, it was a video I saw a while back.
All things bright and beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the kitchen for a moment.
Are you hungry, are you?
No, I'm getting a drink. Stretching
right.
my leg.
Can you do us a favour, shut that window while you're on your feet?
No.
Save me getting up. It's getting chilly here now. It's clear sky, so
Oh, poor thing.
it's gonna cool down pretty quickly. They're already starting on the farmers again, Scar. They're trying to make them lay up so much land. They won't get hardly any compensation for not using the land. They're saying, oh, let it go to wildflowers. Why? If you want to kill plants and crops, the last thing you do is plant wildflowers. Because obviously the bees can't live in there. They've got nothing to feed on, so they won't pollinate.
I like wildflowers.
Just check out Sonia Poulton. She's still got videos on it. Yeah. Yep, Flyby. There is a lot of information out there on them, but a lot of people are being reined in and shut down when they start to talk about it. We had a shower probably late morning, Stuart, only for about 5 minutes. Other than that, it has been a beautiful day here. But as we know, when you've got a clear sky, it does cool down pretty quickly. And with my bloods, I do feel the cold. It's only got to drop the temperature a little bit and I can feel it. Has anybody else got anything to bring up on anything I've said there? I don't think I've got anything else on the list. Covered most of it all pretty quick there. seen any more on the Slovakian Prime Minister, but apparently he's still under surgery. And they're putting emergency measures in for prisons, is another headline that's come out. Well, the prisons have been rimmed, shall I say, rimmed? I shouldn't use that termination. Have been chocker for quite a while. But there again, they were supposed to build in these 4 new super prisons. I haven't heard or seen anything about those lately. You know, why they were going to build them, I don't know. But as we know, there are a lot of people in prison that shouldn't be there. Even some that are criminals have served their time and could be let out. You know, they just keep them in for silly things. Flybe, yeah, that's a little bit of scaremongering. The only reason lately, over the last few years, there's ever been shortages of anything in the shops is because of fear campaigns panicking people into bulk buying. Remember, the war started with Russia and Ukraine. The world's going to starve because we haven't got the Ukrainian grain. Well, I've always been able to get a loaf of bread whenever I've been out, and so has Mrs. W. So that is a load of bollocks. Russia used to supply a lot of grain. We haven't got the farming capacity for self-sustentation, shall I say, to keep this country going. We haven't got the land, we haven't got the farmers, we haven't got the manufacturing processes. And where we have got them, prices from the EU undercut British prices. So, yes, outlets are going to buy the cheaper ones. Yes, you still get your local butchers and stuff like that, but nowhere near as much and not enough. How much oil did you say Russians say Britain has got? Well, Jen, that's something else. The sanctions they put on Russia, oil and gas, basically it's a load of bollocks because the Russians are still selling to other countries and we're buying off of those. So indirectly, we are still buying Russian oil, fuel, petrol, diesel. That trade has never stopped. Although they led us to believe it had due to the sanctions. Same as us selling to them. It came out a few weeks ago. Yeah, the Russians used to buy a lot of luxury cars because some of the elites in Russia were starting to earn money and more of them were earning a lot more. We stopped selling cars to Russia, but we started selling more and more to other countries who were passing them on and selling them to Russia. So them sanctions meant absolutely nothing. Who was it said the other day? Somebody put out that all of a sudden we've miraculously found more of our own oil and gas. No, we haven't miraculously found it. They've known it's been there for years. And many of the wells were drilled and were capped. And the government refused to issue licenses for people to pump it. Go figure that one out. It's there if we want it, but they won't let us get it. Because they wanted to push wind farms, solar farms. The clean energy that they say was eco-friendly isn't. Because that's all been exposed about how you can't recycle the blades from the wind turbines. Lost Souls, good evening. No notification. No, Lost Souls YouTube have been hammering me again. Even on the videos, they've removed more subscribers as well. But yeah, and the wind farms. What was it they said? We've got the biggest offshore wind solar farm, floating one in the world. That got absolutely decimated by a storm. Yes, Jen, it is. It's all control. It's Thursday, Holly. Mrs. W's live tomorrow night. No, that's the trouble, Mr. Fox. I mean, YouTube, they've really, well, they've been screwing me around ever since I started. You got to remember, within my first half a dozen videos I ever did, I got 2 suspensions and the videos got pulled. For varying reasons. But I don't follow the narrative. I don't buy into their bullshit. And unfortunately, I'm usually that outspoken that they know I don't. So the faceless cowards at YouTube, under government orders from Ofcom as well, obviously. Whatever orders they get, they'll go up to a next level. Yep, the Falklands has got oil fields. Most of them are in the North Sea, the ones they've already drilled and capped. They did issue, I think it was half a dozen licenses a year or so ago, just to appease the people that were complaining about it. And they did issue some more license for exploration, not explanation, exploration into other fields in the North Sea, which they found. But again, they won't let them tap them. If they did, we would be a lot more self-sufficient with power than what we are. Don't forget, we're still buying electricity from the continent.
They're saving it for a later date.
Yeah, but they're still on about power restrictions, especially next winter. This is the thing. I mean, a lot of you out there, without being disrespectful, you probably haven't been through the times when we had power cuts and fuel shortages and petrol shortages and shit like that. Well, I fucking fly. Ha! You ain't going any further, are you? You're flat now, you bastard. We've been through that before. Same as what they're threatening now. Oh, we've got to keep it safe because Russia will fucking nuke us. We've been there before with that threat and seen what it did to not just us, the rest of the world. You know, we were one press of a button away from an Ellie event, you know, and it would have been. I mean, obviously, with all the new technology in nuclear weapons now, it's mainly life that would suffer more than buildings and physical items. Candle Wars Part 2. Yes, sir. Nicely put. I like that. And it was. The sales of candles went through the roof, didn't they?
Only if you wanted 4 candles.
And if you wanted... Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
No, you didn't.
Maybe that's what killed Monty Python's parrot. No, it was dead when he bought it, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was dead when he bought it.
It's already dead. It's an ex-parrot. It is dead. It is no more.
It was nailed to the perch.
But yeah, I can remember that, coming home from school and being told, sit down straight away and do your homework because we're going to have power cuts tonight. And it was every night. And if we keep going the way we're going, we're going to end up back with that. And believe me, You think about it, power cuts now. Back then, you lost your lighting. If you had an electric cooker, you lost that. You couldn't open your freezers because food would start going off if they didn't put it back on. But think about the communications that we're all using now, what we're using here at this moment. That will be
No Wi-Fi.
no Wi-Fi, no nothing. No videos, no communications.
Well, your laptops and things would still work, but without the Wi-Fi,
They're pointless.
yeah, you can't connect to anything. You can't do anything.
Yeah, it is, Flyby. And
Right.
this is why I've always said they want us all electric. Electric, if you've got a smart meter, they can turn you off individually with the press of a button. If they want to turn the country off, they just shut down the grid. Gas, they've actually got to turn up and physically turn you off in the street because they can't leave gas in the lines. It has to be purged. It's all about control. And that's everything they're doing at the moment, from power to money to food to wages to jobs to the law. It's all about controlling us. Yeah, exactly, Scar. And then you only use them for half of the amount of battery time. And then when you went to the shop, you went and bought some new batteries so you wouldn't run out of power on them. My dad used to charge, I said before, he used to keep a couple of car batteries charged up. When the power was on, he'd charge them up so we could have decent light in the house. He used to put some headlight bulbs and hang them up.
We had them hurricane lamp type things.
1984. Exactly, Karen. Exactly.
No, I think it was the 70s.
But you can guarantee that they would still get power, though. The elite, not the elite, but the authorities, they would still get power. The banks would still get power. But think about it. Shops, all their tills now are electric. If they do away with cash, you won't be able to buy anything. So therefore, you won't be able to eat.
They can't open the till to give you change anyway.
I've actually got several fuel stoves out in the shed, Jen. Even one that's wood burning. So I will always be able to cook, providing we've got the food to cook on it. I'll always be able to boil a kettle, providing the water's not full of fucking sewage. Yeah, they'd love that, Scar. They'd love to low jack us all. But I will die fighting that off. I would not have any sort of chip put in me. Not a chance. The only way they'd do it is sedate me and force me. And believe me, if I knew that that's what they were trying to do, I would put up a fight. Well, this is it, Jen. This is why they were trying to, well, they did actually change the rules and the laws around log burners. They've got to be of a certain standard now. If you've got one and they know you've got one, they will come round and check. Yeah, that's all you need, Karen. That's all you need. Yep, exactly, Scar. But now, when you think the smart meters and stuff like that, most hospitals now have got their own generators only that are more than capable of producing enough power to run the hospital. But if they haven't got the fuel for them, they can't run them, can they? Yeah, that exactly, Holly. That's what they don't want. They don't want us to be self-sufficient. This is why they're trying to cut down on people van living and stuff like that. There's, by the way, if you do a lot of van touring and living in your van through the summer, there's a lot of laws being changed around that soon as well, along with MOTs for cars, motorbikes. On the continent, they're trying to do away with motorcycles altogether. There's even talk about bringing the speed limit down for them so they won't be able to travel faster than cars, if there's any cars left. As we know, they're trying to drive them off the road as well. Is there anybody in the chat that wants me to open the panel? If you want to come up, let me know, and I'll put the link up there. Yeah, and the thing is, Holly, because we will end up the minority, don't forget a lot of this new influx, they've lived without power for fucking years. A lot of them come from third world countries. Yeah, they're used to cooking on open fires, but we just haven't got the game for them around here for them to go and hunt.
But they wouldn't care. They'd nick everything from the local park. The ducks,
Well, they already do.
That's what I mean.
Swans, a lot of the carp lakes got poached and emptied. The indigenous fish in the rivers, that they'll eat them, although most of them are edible. But it's not acceptable in this country. Although I do believe, I haven't actually seen it, but I do believe under the Magna Carta, you do have the right to feed your families from our rivers. The sea you do, I know that, but rivers I'm not too sure about.
If you can catch anything.
But who the fuck wants to live on minnow sandwiches?
Yeah.
I used to love having an open fire, Karen. Unfortunately, because we're in a council house, that was taken out years ago and gas fire fitted. I'd love to open it up, but they won't let us.
I'm not fit enough to build the fire every day.
They said they'll take the fire out, the gas fire out, but we're not allowed to open it up as an open fire. That's what I used to love about my little cottage down in Cornwall. You know, 6-foot logs poking out into the front room, and you push them in as they burnt down. No worries, Simon. And this is the other thing with the water supplies. You know, are they actually going to hold up? Because at the moment, there seems to be major leaks everywhere again. Obviously, the pollution's still going into the rivers. It's still going into the sea. But with what they're charging, they can afford to pay the fines. So they just keep doing it. Jenny, when they want me to invite you to a water bath canning group on my face. Oh yeah, you do the canning and that, don't you, Holly? There's plenty of rabbits all around the country, Jen, but believe me, you can't survive on just rabbit. It doesn't give you what the body needs. You can survive for a certain period of time on just rabbit, but not permanently.
No fat. It's just protein.
Mix it up with a bit of fish.
Couple of spuds.
You know, they originally said you couldn't survive on just fish alone, but that myth has been disproved many times through history. You know, the Polynesians had mainly a fish diet. A lot of countries now still have mainly a fish diet. So that is totally possible. But with the pollution in the seas, as bad as they are now, do you know what you're actually going to be eating? You know, most well, what would you call them?
What?
The sea species, fish and what have you. You can find microplastics in most of them, most species.
And mercury in some of them.
Piscatorial, that was the word. Fucking hell, that's a big word for me to remember.
You've been eating a dictionary again.
Oh, no. Yeah, but again, Holly, foraging, the way they're killing the land, will that still be possible? Do you know how I remembered that? I had to sit and think about the answers I used to give when people used to come down and watch me fishing. You always had the one idiot. You'd be sat there with your fishing rods, boxes of bait, hooks, fucking stuff everywhere, and they say, "What you doing, mate?" And my answer used to be, "Well, as an aquatically challenged biped, I am exercising my podorial rights on the piscatorial species of our waters." And they used to give me some real funny looks. And they said, "What's that?" I said, "I'm fucking fishing, you twat." Yes, exactly, Holly. Everybody gives their cat tuna. Think about where most tunas come from. Even the eco caught ones, line caught tuna.
It's in the water, it's in the fish.
Yep. And that is around places like China, Taiwan, all around there, because what is put in tins in this country, well, most countries, isn't, well, they are a tuna species, but they're a skipjack tuna, which are a lot smaller than the blue fins. And they're the ones you'll see with them all around the boats, giving it this with the big poles, just flipping them over their backs. That's
Come
the
on then.
ecologically caught tuna, as they say. They'd still catch just as many as they would with a net. When you've got a couple hundred guys stood around the boat, one after the other, as soon as the hook hits the water, that's another one on. Off they go. All the big tuna that's caught usually ends up in Japan or posh restaurants in the West. And one fish can be worth up to £1 million of the right species and right size.
It is the second most expensive food in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wagyu beef is the most expensive, and the third one in is a caviar.
Yep. And I'll bet that's the bluefin tuna, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And believe it or not, you can catch tuna off of our coasts. And to prove the fact, one was washed up on a beach very, very close to where we go on holiday in Cumbria last week. Tuna comes from oil too. Nice one, mate. Where's she? I heard her whinny.
She's over here. She
Oh,
was
that's right.
crying for you to, and she's coming back now. And turned round.
But unfortunately, tuna here, you can't catch. Well, you can catch them, but you're not allowed to keep them. You're not even allowed to lift them out of the water, would you believe? Unless you're on the survey vessels. And I think they're actually classed a bit like a swan. Any tuna caught in this country belongs to the Crown. People do catch them when they're out fishing. they used to be caught all around the coast, but most of them now are caught sort of off the West Country. And there has been sightings, and there's actually videos of them on Facebook and YouTube of them coming in to the shallows and feeding in the shallows. But you're not allowed to target them for catching. And believe it or not, the size of the ones they were showing, you wouldn't want to catch them from the shore with a rod. You'd never land them. The gear just wouldn't be up to it. You wouldn't have enough line on your reel. You know, you've got to think that's a fish that would run and take line for the best part of a couple of hours. And that's a very conservative estimate, believe me. There was, who was it that actually hooked into two that weren't much over a couple hundred?
It was
Two,
the
three.
fisherman,
John Locker,
that's him.
the fish locker. If you look him up on YouTube, the fish locker, he's a northerner. I think he was Scouse or a man that actually moved down to Cornwall, and he runs a very successful fishing channel on YouTube. And he actually caught two in one day. And if you see the state of him after he'd been fighting it for a few hours, yeah. Yeah, I'm carnivore, Jen. I like my meat.
But you tend to put it in between two slices of bread.
Yeah, which isn't exactly healthy. But I mean, for many years, once I'd finished my meat on the plate on a Sunday roast, the rest of the food was left. Once the meat was gone, that was it. The meal was over, no matter what was there. Good evening, Gary. Welcome, buddy. I'm batshit phone. What are you doing? Well, nobody said they want to come up on the panel, so I won't bother putting the link up for now. If I fish to live, it would be a dogfish diet. Rock salmon. Dogfish is very, very nice, Moo, to be honest.
This year.
It's more of a meaty consistency than a fish.
This year, we're keeping one.
We are.
Was that a question or an agreement?
I don't know. Depends on the size. We've got the size limit we got to keep to. But it's quite hard to prepare. Obviously, you got to skin it, which is a task in itself.
Peel it.
Yeah, no worries, Flyby. Take care, buddy. Yeah, dogfish. The only good thing about it is there's no bones in it. Being a member of the shark family, it's all cartilage, so you don't have to worry about any bones. But covered in breadcrumbs and pan fried, it is absolutely beautiful. It really is. You'll see it in the fish shops going under the name of bullace, usually. They used to call it rock salmon, but you're not allowed to call it that anymore. It's magnet fishing, and you could catching only if you're waving it around in Asda or Tesco's, Moo. I don't think security would go a lot on that.
I was going to say, they still insist you pay for it before you leave.
I just caught a steak. Actually, you do get what they call sea steaks. Believe it or not, it's tuna. If you ever seen raw tuna and seen a tuna steak, it looks very, very similar.
Right in supermarkets. It's bloody
Yeah.
expensive. Though.
It's very expensive. And it's not very nice if you overcook it either. And it only needs a few seconds either side.
It needs to be rare.
But again, you know, you got to think sushi, tuna steak, pollution in the sea. No, it doesn't taste like steak, Ollie. Yeah, it depends how you cook it, Gary. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that you can get sort of tuna steaks and what have you. They've only ever had it out of cans, but it is very expensive. Take care, Flyby. Well, you can actually eat it raw, Gary. A lot of sushi or sashimi, I think one of the two, is a lot of it is based on tuna. Yeah, but as you're getting better, Holly, now you're getting a lot better.
Time will come.
Time will come where you will be able to eat it, same as you'll be able to sit down with a glass of wine. I mean, I very rarely eat steak, if I'm honest. One, obviously, I find a job chewing it with the false chops, and I like mine not well done, but way above medium.
But you do like braised steak, and you do get
braised steak, yeah,
because that's you don't need to chew that.
Yeah, but that's because of the way it's cooked, isn't it?
Yeah, nicely.
Wonder how many fish fingers a fish has. I knew the questions like that would start. Yeah, I don't drink wine, Holly. I can't stand the taste of it. Don't matter what colour it is, with or without bubbles.
Can't do
Doesn't
bubbles.
interest me. Never did.
Can't do bubbles, but a nice red, excellent.
But I'll tell you what, Holly, you've been not drinking alcohol for that long. Believe it or not, I'm 15 years dry now. I don't miss it one bit. Don't miss alcohol at all.
Gary, can you cook a steak that cuts like butter and have it well done? Because if it's not well done, he wouldn't eat it.
No. I don't like to see any pink in my meat. Oh, something else just come into my head then, and I'm not going down that route to the gut. No, I don't like pink meat. Cherry brandy and Coke for the occasional. I was a Jack Daniels and real ale man, Jen. Both of them in great quantities, and that was probably my downfall.
What made you fall down, you mean?
Well, eventually, yeah. Trouble is, after a few, I used to make other people fall down, and brandy and cognac have never interested me. I used to, if there weren't Jack Daniels, I'd quite happily drink a good whiskey. But if there was bourbon about, it was much preferred. Usually after a pint of real ale, but
Haven't had a Nuki Brown in years.
I'll tell you what, I've never drunk Nuki Brown, but after watching a mate of mine at a party years ago, I wouldn't drink it anyway. It's a horrible thing. His party trick was pulling his kegs down, squatting over a Nuki Brown bottle, and standing up with the thing hanging out of his arse. Right up until the point where somebody leant on his shoulders one night, and that made quite a mess. and that put me off even thinking about it.
And you had to repeat it on here. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's going back to
I don't care.
probably early 80s. Yeah, his favourite party trick was walking around the room with a Nuki Brown bottle hanging out of his ring piece. Glad to hear it, Jim. Yeah, you'll be surprised what they can fit up there, Demon. Never tried it myself, never been interested or had the inclination to even try. But yeah, that's the thing, Sue. I knew some right weirdos back in the day, believe me. Over my time, I've come across some very, very strange people.
And you keep introducing me to them.
Yeah, you've met one or two over the years. But there was never anybody as strange as that lot on the Euro. But there you go. That's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? And by the way, shooting fish in a barrel is not as easy as they say it is. Compared to a charger, it must be easy. Yeah, especially if it's hard boiled. Probably a lot easier if it's been deshelled as well. Okay, I've just noticed what's giving me the extra shine on my head. It's that thing up there.
Told you could go for makeup.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. It's a bit pointless me putting lippy on it.
I wasn't on about lippy. I was on about deep shine.
See, even that one does it. Well, I know why that one's doing it.
It shouldn't be so reflective.
No, it's because the shade's cockeyed from when I do my videos. There you go, that's a bit better. But I've still got quite a bit of light coming through this back. Oh, look! Rain clouds. The blue sky's gone. Fucking hell. It's all right for those that don't know. When I'm sat here, if I look above my screens, I'm looking straight out the window up the garden. Yeah, I'll bet he was a right bright spark, wasn't he, Simon? Brown bitter in Newcastle. They give me a pint of bitter. I used to drink light and bitter many years ago, but and would you believe I can go back to a time when a pint of light and bitter, including nearly a full pint of bitter and a full bottle of light, you could get for 28 pence. Would you believe? In my past, that was the lowest price I'd ever paid for a pint. It was 28p. Yeah, I knew something like that was coming, Nick. Simon. Yeah, 28 pence for a light pint of light and bitter. I think a bitter on its own was something stupid. It was around 20 pence, something like that. But there again, you could go and buy a gallon of petrol for less than £1, and that included the 2-stroke oil. So that makes me feel really old. Weekly wage was about £22. My first ever job, proper job, after I left school, I was working while I was at school as well, Moo. I worked as a groundsman for a school, Radley College. Some of you may have heard of that, very elite. And my average weekly wage on that one without overtime was £16 a week. And as soon as I turned 18, I went from that to a car factory, the MGs, and I was earning nearly 200 quid a week.
I was on 75 pence an hour on my Saturday job, and that was a good money for a school kid.
Well, I as a school kid, I used to earn more working on the farm at weekends and doing the landscaping with my dad than I ever did at work back then in a proper job. Did the kids ever call you Mad Max, Roger? No, because there wasn't no Mad Max when I was a kid.
Mad Max hadn't been invented.
He hadn't been around then. But for quite of my younger days, I probably dressed the same as he looked. And some of my cars and bikes certainly looked the same. 79 for Mad Max, yeah. And it's still got a big following, actually, in America and Australia. Some of the cast are still about. Emil Minty, he's still about. I don't know whether he still acts. The one, what was her name out of Mad Max 2? What was her fucking name? She was in Virginia Hay. She was the blonde one that was up on top of the petrol tanker with the crimped blonde hair. She was actually in the Farscape series, playing Zan the alien. Obviously, Mel Gibson's still about. Nice to see that him and a few others have started up their own Hollywood studio now, which is professed to be woke free. They won't entertain any wokeness in there at all. But again, the entertainment industry, Hollywood, it's been taken over by AI. You know, that you don't get actors anymore. You just get characters on a screen. That's it. And even the sci-fi movies, they used to be great. You had people with a few special effects thrown in, but now they've done away with the people and they're just AI characters. I mean, to me, I don't usually watch any films like that. If I watch sci-fi, I like the proper sci-fi. Yeah, they were all on not so long back on Freeview, Bleach Demons. 1 and 2, to me, I could see that as part of a future that we could possibly see. Beyond those, that was just pure fantasy. Well, think about it, Mad Max 1, it's what fucking London looks like now anyway, isn't it? But, I never had a pet paper round, Jen.
I did.
From the age where I was literally big enough to pick up a shovel or something like that, I was working on the farms.
No farms around here.
I did spend one summer helping the milkman. I remember that one. I used to go round on his rounds with me. He used to give me a few bob. But that's what I mean. How many kids nowadays have spent a summer on the farm, humping hay bales onto a trailer and stuff like that? If they had to do something like that nowadays, they just might understand what proper work is. You know, we weren't given everything back then. I never even got any pocket money when I was young. If I wanted anything, I had to go out and earn to pay for it myself. You know, we might get chucked the odd tanner to go and get a bag of sweets or threepence, but that was about it. Anything else you wanted, you had to go and earn the money yourself. You had to go out to work. But that's the way it was back then. What was that alert for? I had an alert then.
I don't know.
Oh, I see it. I see it. It's our friend Locutus over on Discord just putting up my live stream. Resist! Hello, buddy! I got 20p pocket money a week in 81.
Hi, Resist. How are you? Keeping well?
81. What was I? 20. I was well away from pocket money in 1981.
I've got 2 kids. Donna was born in 1981.
Yeah. That's what back then, if you told me that at some point in the future, kids would be asking for £1,000 phones and £1,000, £2,000 laptops and stuff like that, I'd have laughed at you. I really would. And
Well, that was the price of the car. No.
Yeah. What bloody house? The year I was born, the average price for a house was 595 quid. And I know that because I looked up the statistics and the facts. 595 quid for the average house. If you wanted to buy it outright back then. I mean, the first mortgage I ever took out was less than £200 a month. I know that. And that was paying for it inside 5 years. Gary Hart on the youth of the group. Go on then, Gary. How old are you? Come on. Spill the beans.
Because we've got some youngsters in here.
We have got some youngsters in here, or I don't know whether they're in here and watching and listening, but we got 1 or 2 youngsters as subs, not under 18, or not that I know of anyway. I think 47. Is that only in a guesstimate, is it?
Well, the likes of James Palmer is younger than Gary. I know he's not in here at the moment, but he quite often joins us. Me.
He's
44.
Well, Dan's 44, isn't he? Pap. Born in 76. Okay.
Palmer was 1980.
Yep. 76.
Holly's younger than that.
Yeah, we won't divulge Holly's name, but I believe she's younger than that.
I think
Simon just turned 50.
I think Stitches as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So, I mean, I was well into my 50s and I was still doing antics, especially on the bikes, that I was doing in my teens. The only thing that had changed was the bikes had the suspension and they were a couple of £1,000 worth each rather than something that was dragged off the local council tip. You're 19 in this life. Okay, Boo. Don't forget I've met you, mate. Yeah, I mean, literally, it was only the... I started to slow down a bit after the bypass, but to be honest, all I did was actually stop competing. I still used to go and ride. it was only after the strokes that, yeah, I just physically couldn't do it anymore. Otherwise, I'd still be doing it. And sadly, it is sadly, I've still got it in my head that one day I would like to get back on a bike at some stage, to the point where I have kept one decent one out the back.
Let me get you insured first.
Thank you. But I don't hold much hope of it, but I keep it there. Just, I don't know, maybe a memento, maybe memories of the times and the fun that I had on them. Sadly, I don't have a lot of items from my youth, not even photographs. As I explained before, when my mum died, who was the last one of the family to die of the parents, I wasn't allowed anything from the house, not even a memento. And that included a lot of baby photos, a lot of other personal items. Although the photos were never ever put up in the house, I knew they were still there. I don't believe they ever got destroyed. I believe they got forgotten about in the boxes in the loft. But so the only ones I've got from my very young days are ones that were collected by somebody who put together a small album for my 40th birthday. They actually made a joke of it in the pub, calling it "This Is Your Life," and they presented me with the little photo album in the pub. Those I still have. The youngest photos I've got of me, which I have shown on here in the past, were, I think I was either 3, maybe even a bit younger. Other than that, I've got none. All the rest were once I'd got into my late teens. Stuart's 57. You but a whippersnapper, Stuart. Don't forget, I've actually seen some photos of you. I wanted my Scooby was a living room decor, but it wouldn't fit. Oh, funny you should say that, Gary. In one of my workshops, I did actually cut a Mini in half, long ways, and had it all fixed up on the wall of the workshop. I did have a motorcycle in a fireplace once in my cottage. One of them big sort of walk-in fireplaces that used to have the old pot swinger on the side and shelf. I actually had central heating in that one, and what I did was put lights up in the old chimney, and I used to have a motorcycle stood in the fireplace where the fire used to be. That tells you how big the fireplace used to be. Drove the front half home. Charlie Brown on a Saturday morning. Yeah, but Charlie Brown was only ever in colour, wasn't it, Jen? If I remember rightly. I think the first ever colour cartoons and that I saw as a young man was at the Saturday morning cinema club.
Woody Woodpecker.
Woody Woodpecker, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. I mean, we only had a black and white TV for many years. We were the first one in the street to get a coloured TV. And even then you only had, I think it was 4 channels. A lot of what some of the older generation in here might remember, things like the Wooden Tops, Trumpton, Pinky and Perky. Well, I only ever saw those originally in black and white.
Wooden Tops was only made in black and white.
Yeah. This is what I say with the kids today. They just don't really appreciate what they've got, considering what we used to have at their age. I mean, they say the kids used to be on the street playing till all times of the day and night back then. Yeah, you were, because there was no entertainment at home. That was our entertainment, was go out and see your mates. Go out and ride your bikes for miles. Go and camp up the woods.
But children's television was from about 4 till 6. That was it.
Yeah.
Because then it was the news.
News came on at 6 o'clock. Before your news, you had the Magic Roundabout and stuff like that. That was the last kiddies program of the evening. And then it went on to soaps and stuff like that. Yeah, RTE and Channel Era, wasn't it, Karen? If I remember rightly. And then eventually they had the BBC and that over there as well. Yeah, Camberwick Green, Trumpton. Well, Camberwick Green was after my sort of time and things like that. Likewise with Mary Mungo and Midge. Yeah, it was Moo. You played hard, you got hurt, you played for a lot longer. But look how much healthier the kids were back then. You were out riding your bikes for God knows how many bloody miles. If you didn't have a bike, you used to walk. Yeah, footy in the park, evening loafer, jumpers for goalposts. Trumpton. I bet none of you can remember Charlie Lewis and Lamb Chopper. That was never done in colour. Or even some of the older ones, like the Flower Pot Men and stuff like that. Even what Merry-Go-Round, what's the name? What was it? I just mentioned it. I can't remember it now. Magic Roundabout. Even that was originally in black and white, if I remember rightly. A lot of the original sci-fi series, Stingray, Fireball XL5, Thunderbirds, they were all originally black and white. Oh, Rainbow was a lot later, Jenny. And I still have my doubts about that Jeffrey. We could only play kick the can. Oh, the only reason we had footballs, Moo, is because we used to nick them from school. Yeah, Karen. I built many of those. Oh, Buck Rogers was way past my youth, Jen. But I got to admit, I did used to watch that, even though it was a bit young for me, but that was only to watch Aaron Gray. Dougal was a dopehead. No, that was Dylan Loafer was the dopehead. Dougal was the dog. Dylan was the stoning hippie stoner. And that Zebedee, he was something else, wasn't he? Boing, time for bed. I remember using that phrase as well in my later years with certain ladies.
Like Jasper Carrot did.
Yep. Boing! Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, again, I used to watch that, but simply for the cars. Obviously, yeah, Daisy Duke was a bit of a side attraction. A lot of them did back then, Stuart. If you look at back now and think about some of the things they used to do, some of the things they used to say, they were very dark. I can remember the Biro coming in, Moo. Originally at school, we either had pencils. We're a little bit after the dip your nib in the inkwell jobs, but we certainly had the long platinum ones that used to take the cartridges in or fill up from the inkwell. You know, I'm not that old that I remember writing with feathers, although I have done that. Do you think Florence is a goer? Yeah. Captain Pugwash had some very serious undertones, Jen. Especially with that Master Bates. Gary, I used to come home every day, no matter what I was doing, covered in bruises, mate. If it weren't from falling off a bike or out of a tree, it was through fighting. Chalk and slate. You had Luxury's Bleach Demon. We had chisels. Yep. Semen stains. Yep. There was some very... And the thing is, people didn't cotton on to that for years, did they?
It's because they weren't true.
Skippy, yes. There was another one from around that era, Karen, that I can remember called Barrier Reef. I don't know whether you remember that one. Lassie, yeah, that's an old stalwart. But Barrier Reef and Skippy were around the same time. Barrier Reef was stories around a marine conservation area and the rangers. Certainly wouldn't Roger the cabin boy. Oh no, he doesn't like a lot of Rogering, does Roger? I blame the egg breakfast.
Flipper, yeah. I was trying to think of the name of the dolphin. Thank you, Karen.
Flipper, yeah. Summertime suit, yes, Barry. I had a feeling somebody might remember it. The Australian series like that were quite popular over here at the time. Yes, Jen, it was Barrier Reef, Flipper, and Skippy. And there was another one. That wasn't Australian. It was based in Africa. And it was a program called Daktari.
Clarence the Cross-Eyed
Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion. Yeah.
As soon as you said based in Africa, I know you were talking Daktari.
What was his name? Marshall. Somebody Marshall actually played the bloke. Black Beauty. That depends which series you're talking about, Karen. The original series, believe it or not, if I remember rightly, it was Jenny O'Gutter that played the young girl. It was somebody different in later series.
Who was it you wanted to know in Daktari?
What was his daughter's name? The actual actress.
Dr. Tracy and Miller as his daughter.
That's the one. Yeah. Daktari, and then the drums started.
Marshall Thompson.
That's it. Marshall Thompson.
Cheryl Miller.
That was Cheryl Miller. That was the blonde one.
She was Paula Tracy.
That was the one. Yeah. She was cute. Banana Splits. Yeah, that was, again, a little bit after my youth time, Stuart. But I do remember it. Yes, she was in the Railway Children, Loafer. She was also in American Werewolf in London. And she was in Walkabout. And she was also in a film called Equus. Space 1999. Yeah, that was just around the same time as UFO programs like that. Commander Straker. Good evening, Ricky. Why don't you? Yes. Now, I've got a story about that, Ricky. Actually, you saying that. Yeah, Dan's fine. Resist. Why don't you turn off your television set and go and do something interesting instead? Now, many, many years ago, when that series was on, one of the things they put forward was banger racing. And they turned up to film at our local track. They had a camera car. They rigged out one of our driver champions at the time with 2 or 3 cameras in his car, painted a checkered flag on the roof, and we were told, don't hit him because he had the cameras in. And the producer got really, really pissed off because within half a lap of the race starting, he'd been put on his roof. They actually had to do the actual filming they showed in the program privately with paid drivers. Kickstart junior trials, yes. I remember that one. The Sunday Gang. I remember, what was the one where the kids lived in the junkyard in the bus?
Oh,
Double deckers. You can tell what I did in a lot of my youth, can't you? Demon Kickstart Vintage, yeah. They were talking about doing a new series of that. Resist, believe it or not. Kickstart. Faulty Towers, yeah. Monty Python's. Swap Shop, yeah. That was, what's his face? Noel Edmonds and Sally, somebody. It's amazing, I can't remember what I'd say 10 minutes ago, yet I can fucking remember all this shit. Yes, sure, there was a lot of messages back then. But people didn't see them. If they did see them, they didn't understand them. You think now with recycling, the eco shit, remember the Wombles? Yeah. That was the first program that I can remember where recycling was actually pushed to the kids. Was there a message there they were trying to push? Was it even a message back then? I don't know. But that was all about recycling, wasn't it?
I remember one that was my kids' favourites one of my kids' favourites in the 80s. And there was a little guy with glasses who would go, I say, DM.
Yeah. Oh, Danger Mouse. I say, DM. Yeah, Danger Mouse. What was the other one? I had another one in my head just then until you said that.
Sorry.
Fucking hell. No, it's all right. It will come back. Steptoe and Son, yeah. Love Thy Neighbour. Although some of those have been getting Penfold, yeah. Played by
David Jason.
What? Penfold? No, it wasn't.
Danger Mouse was David Jason, and I think he did a lot of the voices.
Terry Scott was Penfold. I think you'll find.
Yes.
Thank you. What was the other one? Yeah, all the Carry On movies, a lot of them. They're still played. Dinosaurs. Taliesin Dynasty.
Oh, God, no.
Don't get me started on them.
Never.
Who shot JR? Well, I fucking would have done if I could have got there.
No, I didn't do Dallas and Dynasty. No,
No, absolutely not. Not the big shoulder pad girls.
I didn't mind the outfits.
Not landing.
Didn't mind the outfits, but no. I was never going to meet an oil baron. So,
what was the other one? There was a cartoon, Marine Boy, but Patrick Duffy did one where he was
Aquaman.
Well, it wasn't called Aquaman back then, was it? Kevin Eldon. Yes, see, Jen, you're getting past
Man from Atlantis.
Man from Atlantis. There you go. Yeah. And the original Wonder Woman and Batman. The original
Who's
Tarzan.
afraid of that trap door?
The spider. DuckTales, yeah. What was it? I'm still trying to think of that other one now.
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock. Clangers. Jenny, you were saying Flash Gordon. Which one are you thinking of? Just be clear, I'm a Roger Moore man. So you used to watch The Saint then and the Persuaders and stuff like that. Because I can remember at the cinema when on the Saturday morning shows watching the Flash Gordon series. And who was it? I can't remember. Buster Crabbe played Flash Gordon. And that was only ever in black and white. Never ever saw that in colour. Moomins.
How about Terrorhawks?
Terrorhawks. Yeah, these I remember from watching my brother and whatever you're watching them. They were after my sort of time at
Yeah,
that.
my kids were watching them.
Tarzan, yes. The most popular series, it was Ron Ely played him.
Yeah, Ron Ely was the best.
And the other one, he's still an actor now, I believe. Not Lex Barker. There was another one. He was always in the cowboy films that took over from Ron Ely. But Ron Ely was the original one that most people would remember.
Johnny Weissmuller.
Yeah, but was that the series or the film? I think you find Johnny Weissmuller. Oh, no, he might have been in the series, actually. But that was in black and white. Because Johnny Weissmuller was a swimming champion.
Yeah.
That's how he got the job.
So you want
Zelda.
Yeah.
Ron Ely, yes, Sue. That's the one I remember most of all. But there was, Johnny Weissmuller, Lex Barker, and as I say, there was another one back then, but I can't remember his bloody name. But it was a TV series, not a film. By the power of Grayskull. Yeah, that's well after my youthful time, Gary. That Skeletor was a twat. Can we have Bosco? No, I can't remember that one. Because we used to go to Ireland most years for holiday. Yeah, the Hulk's way after my time.
So you want to know Tarzan after Ron Ely?
Yeah, there was another one.
Wolf Larson?
Who?
Wolf Larson?
No, he was quite a big guy. I'm trying to think who he looked like. Oh, fucking hell. Yes, MASH. I used to love MASH. Brilliant series.
Johnny Weissmuller, Alexander Skarsgård, Ron Ely, Lex Barker, Joe Lara, Mike Henry,
Mike Henry.
Gordon Scott, Wolf Larson,
Yeah, it was
Buster
Mike Henry
Crabbe,
was the one. Yeah, Buster
Denny
Crabbe.
Miller, Tony Goldwyn,
Ah.
Dick Mahoney,
Monkey. Trippy Tucker. With Sandy and Pigsy.
There's an awful lot of actors playing Tarzan.
See, this is what screws with my head. Now, I'll put something down. 2 minutes, I've forgotten where I put it. I'll lose myself halfway through a conversation. Can't remember what I said a minute ago. Yet I can remember this shit from back then. Yeah, MASH is still running, Sue. It's still running on Freeview. I mean, if you ever want to watch any of the old time films, what's that channel called? Sue?
What, Talking Pictures?
That's it. Talking Pictures. They do show a lot of old black and white films, a lot of old horror films. Grasshopper, David Carradine, Kung Fu. Yeah, I can remember that. Bruce Lee's first ever appearance in Hollywood.
Was that the film with
He was the sidekick to the Green Hornet. And his first ever actual movie was The Big Boss. Yeah, Legend has gone a bit weird, Drone. It's a lot of documentaries and that now. It's not all sci-fi and horror like it used to be. Legend Extra is, but not the actual Legend channel. Kato, yes, mate, exactly, mate.
and Bleach.
The Green Hornets, and Bleach Demon, yep. Yep, Enter the Dragon was the one that pushed him into the real big time on it. Dick Barton. Yeah, that was around the same as what's his name? Not Campbell Wick fucking Green. Dixon and Doc Green. Campbell Wick Green. The Untouchables, the original Untouchables back then. Yeah, a lot of people like John Wayne, Jen, but realistically, he was an arsehole. He abused women, he cheated on women.
Roger Moore was awfully sexist.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back, putting girls over his knee and slapping their behinds for not doing things properly.
Yeah, Bleach Demon, that was the film. I'm going back to a black and white series that used to be called The Untouchables. Prisoner, Patrick McGowan. Yeah, again, that was a bit later on. I am not a number. I am an asshole. Remember Tales of the Unexpected? Yes. And that series, believe it or not, is still running. What channel is it on?
What?
Tales of the Unexpected. You used to watch it on Sunday mornings, didn't you?
Is it drama?
Yeah. And the other one, The Twilight Zone, that was a rerun again on Freeview not so long back.
It was drama. I think.
Dr. Kildare. Oh, God. That is going back, Karen. Before that, sorry. Some mothers do have them. Yeah, that shot Michael into the limelight, didn't it? He was brilliant in that. All right, Sue. Take care, sweetheart. The Twilight Zone, yeah.
Around the twist rings a bell.
Around the twist. One of my favourite lady actresses did a lot of Hammer House of Horror films, Jen. Mm-hmm. Some others nights. Do you remember Around the Twist?
Oh yeah, the Lighthouse.
No, I don't remember that one. El Dorado. Oh my God. Oh, starring John Hurt. Yeah. Wonder Woman. Yeah, that was an old one. Yeah, the one from, I had to think of a name there, from the Hammer House of Horrors. And that era is Caroline Munro. $1 Million Man, yeah. Also went on to do the one with where he was the stunt man. And then you had Wonder Woman, didn't you? And Wonder Dog. Do you know what, Gary? Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, never did a thing for me. Never did a thing for me whatsoever. Cooperman and Blunder Woman, yeah.
Cruise liner thing. I mean, the Love Boat.
Love Boat, yeah. Lindsay Wagner, wasn't it? Yeah, that played Bionic Woman.
Aye. Oh, excuse me. There's all this sitting around I've done watching people work today.
Yeah, Linda Carter never did anything for me. I'd rather watch Carolyn Monroe. Had a sore pee over it. Yeah, you bloody pervert. Oh, Doctor Who has lost the plot, loafer. And with that woke coloured bloke in there who openly said he hates whites and whites shouldn't watch it, and ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That will kill the series. But there again, I can go back to the original John Pertwee. What was the one before that? He was in the series, the original Doctor. And he popped up again in. Because he was Hartnell.
William Hartnell.
William Hartnell, yeah. She was too skinny, Jen. I always said she was too skinny. Around that waist, she just looked weird. Patrick Troughton, yeah, he was one of the original Doctors as well. Oh, bloody hell. Again, that one's been on Bleach Demon lately. What was the one where he body swaps through time?
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. There you go. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Yes, Admiral Crane. I can remember that. With the flying sub.
Waltons yet?
Yeah, the Waltons.
Night Town Boy.
Captain Scarlet. Yep. Well, on again, I think it's the older program on Freeview, they're actually doing reruns of Stingray and Fireball XL5 at the moment. Yes. There's actually a video of that on YouTube, Loafer. Time Tunnel, yeah. Oh, fucking hell, there's loads from the Protectors, the Persuaders,
The Pretenders.
the Pretenders. Yeah. Oh, Randall and Hopkirk. Obviously, the Sweeney. Everybody knew about the Sweeney. Bonanza, yeah. I'll tell you what, Moo, you want to see a very sad history of someone from Bonanza. Look up the guy who played Hoss, Dan Blocker. He had a very sad life. High Chaparral, yeah. Manolito. Blue Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, this is bringing back some fucking memories, this is. I'm glad we got off politics. Who else did we have from back then? The Virginian. Anybody remember the Virginian?
Oh, and how?
Well, I knew you'd like it because one of your favourite stars is in it.
Well, I've got a thing for the Virginia himself, but I quite like Doug McClure as well.
And what was his character's name?
Trumpus.
Yep. Trumpus.
Because I've got it on the screen.
You're cheating.
Yeah.
You're Googling it.
Yeah.
See, I'm doing this off
My
of memory.
memory is not that. You know what I'm like for people's names? Because I wanted to say Ben. Who's
Z-Cars. And there was the other one as well, wasn't there? Around the same time as Z-Cars, but it was around the CID. I can't remember the name of it now.
Z-Cars, Sweeney.
Well, I can remember Car 57. And the biggest guy in that was the one that ended up playing Lurch.
Hazel.
Blackadder.
Chips.
Hazel, yeah.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
Sweeney. Kojak.
Oh, Kojak. Telly Savalas.
Van der Valk.
Van der Valk, yeah. That was the one that was based in Amsterdam, wasn't it? Heart to Heart, yes. Robert Wagner and Stephanie Powers.
Yeah.
And I do believe it was while filming that he lost his wife, who died in very mysterious circumstances after falling off the back of a boat.
Prisoner Cell Block,
Block H, yeah, that was another Australian one. B, Top Dog. Softly, Softly. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. There was another one, a police series, where it was like the Flying Squid. It was like the Sweeney, but it was a lot older. Vinegar Tits. Yes, Gary. Yeah, Jesus. Boys from the Black Stuff. Yeah, I didn't really watch that much. Woken, yeah.
Struggling to find another cop one.
Yeah, Bleach Demon, they don't know, and they never did prove that she was either thrown or fell. She had a lot of alcohol in her. Natalie Wood, wasn't it? Very beautiful woman, as it happens. She was also in West Side Story, I think it was. Children of the Sky. Here's one for you. Does anybody remember the Tomorrow People?
Oh, yes.
There was a kids' program called The Tomorrow People.
New Scotland Yard.
Yeah, New Scotland Yard. That was a later one. It might have been Softly, Softly. Land of the Giants, yes.
That isn't even showing up in the, mind you, neither Z cars.
And would you believe Land of the Giants, Barrier Reef? There was another one. They used to do yearly annuals, books with stories in. Time Tunnel, yeah. Tony and what was the other character's name? Can't remember now, but I remember the name Tony from that. Is Scott in here? Hello, Scott. Good evening, mate. Twilight Zone, yeah, we've been there. The Persuaders, yeah. The Protectors, if I remember rightly, was William Gaunt, Alexander Bastido, and the other character in it was the one that played Tony in the Time Tunnel. Tony Hartman Morph, yeah.
Yeah, Softly, Softly.
Yeah, all good here, Scott. All good here. Bit of a sore throat, a little bit tired, but all these memories have livened me up a bit. Yeah, Van der Valk was based in Amsterdam, if I remember right.
No, I think he was just from
Crystal Maze, yeah. Richard O'Brien. Also played Riff Raff in the Rocky Horror Show, the movie. Bergerac, that was Jersey. Maastricht, I remember that name, Resist, but it's not. Juliet Bravo, yeah. Remember that one. Taggart, yeah. That was the Scottish one. That's a later one. Knight Rider, yeah. Yeah, we've been there, Missy. Charlie's Angels. Yeah, not so much, Jen. Not so much. Lovejoy. Heather loves watching Lovejoy, Karen.
I must have seen every episode about 12 times, I think. But then
what was the school where they all ended up on Easties? Wasn't Grange Hill, was it, Moo? South Maastricht, okay.
There was another Scottish one called Sutherland's Law.
As time goes by, yeah. With the local one to us here, obviously, was Crossroads. Because Benny was in love with Miss Diane. Lovejoy and David Dickinson, the same person.
What?
No, Ian McShane played Lovejoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebus was another Scottish one.
Lovejoy wasn't orange.
Falcon Crest. Yeah, but that was another spin-off of Dallas and Dynasty, wasn't it? Yeah, Leonard Rossiter. Yes, I remember that one, Stitch. Alongside Richard Beckinsale, Kate Beckinsale's father, who is still one of my favourite actresses. Not for her acting abilities, but Dempsey and Makepeace. Yes, that was the American guy. And what was she named? The blonde one. Fuck if I can remember her name now. Highway. Seriously, Holly, you used to watch that?
She's not the first one to mention it.
It's actually being rerun at the moment as well on a channel on Freeview. I can't remember which one it was. Cuckoo's Nest, Robin's Nest. Yeah, Chips, California Highway Patrol, Eric Estrada. Yeah.
You mean make
Glynis Barber. Thank you. Origin unknown. Man from Uncle, yes. Iria Kuriakin. With Robert Vaughn and David McCallum. Seriously, Holly. And you admit to that. Did you watch Little House on the Prairie as well? Yeah, but David Jason Stitch, I mean, it doesn't matter what he was in. He is an excellent actor, whether it's comedy, a serious pro or whatever. He's an amazing guy.
And I actually read his autobiography last year, and it was fascinating.
Diagnosis Murder. That was Dick Van Dyke, wasn't it, Ollie? Love Thy Neighbour did rerun not so long back. Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, the original one or the later one? Touch of Frost. Yeah, again, David Jason was brilliant in that. But as police go and for acting, you are never, ever going to beat John Thor. And I don't mean in the Sweeney. And the reason I liked him, what was the name of it?
What?
Fucking gone straight out of my head. Had it in my head. The one that John Thor played.
The one what?
Detective series. It was with Kevin Whiteley. Inspector Morse. No, the reason I used to like watching that was because that was all filmed around my hometown and that area.
And what's one of my favourite films?
Evening, Brian. One of your favourite films?
Yeah, with John Thor.
Oh, Mr. Tom.
Good night, Mr.
Good night,
Tom.
Mr. Tom. That was a brilliant film. If there's anybody out there that hasn't watched it, I will recommend it. And I will recommend you have a box of tissues handy as well.
Or two.
Or two. Yeah, he's another one, Lost Souls. He's just an amazing actor. Whether he was doing, I can't even remember his fucking name now.
Sweeney?
No, he used to tread the boards, didn't he? Yeah, it was, Gary. It was an absolute brilliant film. And it depicted how life was then during the war as well. Absolutely perfectly. No, Loafer, it's a really sad one, mate.
But it's not. It's got a happy ending.
It has got a happy ending, but some of the storyline was very, very sad. And those of you can actually remember it up until the end, the saddest one that everybody thought was Old Yeller, but There you go. Oh, Cynthia Bucket. Hello, hello. Yeah, I didn't go a lot on that. To me, that was it was comedy, but funny enough, I didn't actually find it funny. Watership Down or Bambi? Now resist. This is a prank we did many, many years ago. Back in the days when you could go and hire videos before CDs or anything like that. We actually went in and tried to get them to order a video called Gay Nymphoid Bikers on Acid with Bambi. Now, the local video shop down in Cornwall spent 6 months looking for it. Yeah, Gay Nymphoid Bikers on Acid. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah.
Do you know, I've just learned something Googling Mr. Goodnight, Mr. Tom.
What was that?
It originally was a children's book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not suitable for children.
It was on the reading curriculum when I was at school, same as Kes. That was another good film, Kes. Trying to think of some more from back then. Yeah, I remember Kes. That was the Kestrel. Diamond Kes. Yeah, Kes was a brilliant one. I read the book before I saw the film. That was another one that was on the curriculum at school. Laverne and Shirley. Yeah. I can remember that one. The Odd Couple. There's the football field scenes, yeah. And another one that was absolutely hilarious, but that's a bit of a later one. You should know this one, Jen. Twin Town. Yeah, Happy Days, Fonzie. The leather jacket and the white T-shirt.
Hey.
Yeah, we had Orwell on the syllabus as well, Loafer. Escape to Victory. That was Roger Moore, wasn't it? That was the football film. Chitty Chitty. You don't remember Twin Town? It was based in Wales. It was about two drug addict brothers and the antics they got up to. It. There was a few dark moments in it, but it was basically a comedy. Yeah, the film, Twin Town. When they got the old farmer stoned and left him on the side of the hill munching grass because they were putting weed in the burger van that they stole and selling people burgers full of weed. Oh, Wizard of Oz, fucking hell. The Wheelies. Chorlton and the Wheelies. Yes, sure. That was an excellent film, and the fact that it was a true story made it even better. A lot of people didn't like it, but I did. You don't remember Twin Town, Missy?
I don't know as I do.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cult thing. I only came across it by accident years and years ago when it was on. I don't even know if you can still get it. It's probably available on Netflix or somewhere like that, I expect. But
Probably on YouTube.
yes, Paulette Charlton and the Wheelies. Apocalypse Now, yes. That was on again the other night, actually. And this week, Full Metal Jacket's on. I think it's this week. Yes, Bleach, or as they called it, the Cobra. But there's one thing I picked up on that. If you watch it driving it around the rugby field, it is actually a replica. And if you look at the size of the exhaust that comes out the back, it's got nothing bigger than a 1300 engine in it. But yeah, we got a Cobra. We stole a Cobra. We did.
Lovely. It's good.
Yeah, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. A lot of people complained about that one, though, for that film. But yeah, it was another good film. Carlito's Way. That was what's his name? Played Mr. Majestic. Oh, fucking hell. His name's gone right out of my head. He was one of the original Hardmen.
Who's that, love?
Death Wish. Charles Bronson was Carlito's Way.
One of my favourite war Vietnam series was Tour of Duty.
Tour of Duty, yeah. Never went a lot on Al Pacino. I wasn't into a lot of the Bruce Willis films, Jen, to be honest. They were all a bit samey. Cobra was Sty Stallone and Bridget Nielsen, yes. The Cobra I was on about, Cobra, that was in Twin Town. Believe it or not, during the Second World War, one of America's most decorated heroes was a Hollywood star. And that was actually Audie Murphy. Yeah, which version, Jen? The one with Schwarzenegger or the one with Dwayne Johnson? Conan the Barbarian was actually the Schwarzenegger one. I was, yeah, the Johnson one was under the same name, I think. Arnie, yeah, the original one. Now, I actually preferred Sharon Stone in The Fast. Was it The Fast and the Deadly or something like that? Fast, yeah, she was a fast gun. Was it Jason Momoa? Sorry, I thought The Rock did a version of that as well. So I'm not that up on these modern ones. Bloody hell. It's 10 to 10. Film Lucy, yes. Scarlett Johansson. Brilliant film. The other one was The Island. Basic Instinct. No, Sharon Stone was in The Specialist as well. Quick and the Dead. That was the other one she was in. And she was also in the Schwarzenegger one where they went to Mars. Total Recall. But there again, Kate Beckinsale's in the remake of that.
Yes, Mo, definitely.
Life of Brian.
He's not the Messiah.
He's a very naughty boy. You lucky, lucky bastard. Can you imagine them? Well, it's been on YouTube quite a lot anyway. The Monty Python's crew are doing a remake live stage version of The Life of Brian. And they have said they're going to leave the bit where they were in the Colosseum talking about Stan
wanting to be a woman.
He wants babies, even though he couldn't have babies, but he wanted the right to have babies, which falls in with today's kind of thing. And they refuse to cut it out the stage show. They're going to keep it in.
I should think so.
Cheech and Chong. Yeah. Used to watch a lot of Cheech and Chong.
My son watched a lot of Cheech and Chong.
Ministry of Strange Walks. Well, it's a classic, isn't it, Loafer? That was one of the scenes that everybody remembers. You know, who's going to remember? 16 years I've been sat in this hole, not a word has passed my lips. And now, without by or leave.
You.
What's the fetus gone? Just you're going to keep it in a box. There was a lot of weird horror films from back then. Basket Case. Yeah, they're my bloody Jupiter berries. It came from my Jupiter bush. Yeah, I can remember all them. Follow the Gourd. Debbie Does Dallas. I knew someone would have to bring that one up. Never been to Swansea. I have, Jen. There ain't much there, darling. I prefer just round the corner at Port Eynon. I've actually downloaded a clip from Demolition Man. I was going to use it in a video, but I forgot to put it in with the way the police act and then nobody actually knows how to use the 3 seashells. They didn't even consider it when they put it in the film. Confessions of a Window Cleaner. Closely followed by Confessions of a Driving Instructor. And the original one in them series was nothing to do with the Confessions film, but it was Shampoo. And in the Confessions film, you had people like Ronnie Corbett and not suitable if you have piles. Mind Your Language, yes. I remember that. You had the French one. They were all students, weren't they? Learning English. You had a Mexican, a French one. You had an Arab. You had the colour fella.
There were some funny sketches in that.
And the other one was Fen Street Mob. Fen Street Gang. Was around the same sort of era as that. Along with the film Rita, Sue and Bob too. Apparently that's a classic. And going back to Rita, Sue and Bob too, yes, there is plenty of room in the back of a Rover V8, especially if you lay the seats down in the back. Yes, it was very risky for its time.
You would know.
I did. My father had one before I did. But again, Jen, it did depict life back then. And that's what it was like. Convoy, Chris Christopherson and Ali McGraw. You, me and Dupree. Wasn't that Gerard? What's his Deputy? Yeah, I think it was in that one. Checkers plays Pop. Come on, resist. Fucking hell. We're talking about films and funny programs here. Nothing funny about that idiot. Chegwin. Run Around, yeah, that was Mike Reed.
Cracker Jack.
That was Leslie Crowder, and what was the little guy's name? I can't remember his name.
Peter Purvis?
No, that was Blue Peter.
No.
Quatermass, the original one, and that, if I remember it right, was James Mason.
Peter.
Who remembers carnal knowledge?
Amy Cohen, Leslie Crowder, Michael Aspel, Ed Stewart, Stu Francis. No.
He was the little guy. Comedian. Arthur Ashe, not
Peter
Arthur
Glaze.
Ashe. Peter Glaze, that was it. He was the main one with Leslie Crowder, wasn't he?
Yeah. But they've listed Eamon Andrews, Leslie Crowder, Michael Aspel, Ed Stewart, Stu Francis, Sam and Mark, but not Peter Glaze.
Michael Bentine's Potty Time.
And his Trained Flea Circus.
Trained Flea. I was just going to say. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, Fantasy Island. Basti plane, deplane. Actually, I saw an article on that Bentine's Potty Time the other day about all the characters with the big noses but no faces. Do you remember them in it?
I do.
He designed all of those and wrote all the scripts and did all the voices.
He did all his own.
Yeah.
I know he did all the scripts.
Yeah.
Very clever man.
The Trained Flea ones, he had special people build the sets, but they were all his ideas. If you ever want to watch a really, really sick film, and believe me, you've got to have a very strange sense of humour. Look up a film. It's on the internet. In fact, I think it's on YouTube, called Meet the Feebles.
It is on YouTube. We've done this before.
Yeah, Bentine was one of the original members of the Goon with Milligan, Seacombe and Sellers, yes. And I used to listen to their show on a Sunday afternoon on the radio.
He's falling into water.
Yeah, that was Little Jim. Colonel Bloodknock, Little Jim. One was, what was the episode called? Phantom Head Shaver of Brighton. And Hunting the International Christmas Pudding. How fucking sad is that? We're having a TV and film history lesson tonight, aren't we? What was the other one I was thinking of with the Fence Street? Please, Sir,
Please, sir. Yeah.
with John. Oh, what was his surname? I can't remember his surname now.
Alderton.
Alderton, that was it. Yeah, it is Holly. Blue Bottle. Yeah. Yep.
And
One
I
of the
got to
goons.
Alderton before I googled it. That is one I remembered.
Carbonyl Holocaust. Goody, goody, yum, yum. Yeah, the goodies. Fuck you know. Jesus, I really did misspend my youth, didn't I?
No, it's all there was back then. You either went out to play or you watched telly.
Yeah.
But it was worth watching.
Oh, it was far, as far as I'm concerned, it was far better entertainment than you get now. The original Invisible Man, yes. And that was the blonde bloke who came out of, he played alongside Pete Jewell in the Western series. Alias Smith and Jones.
Ben Murphy,
Ben Murphy.
another one of my favourites.
Pete Jewell actually killed himself, and then Roger, what's his face, took over the part. He committed suicide. He was the original one with Ben Murphy in the last Smith, Alias Smith and Jones. Saint, yeah, Roger Moore. Oh, bite on the back of my neck. Flatliners, yeah. That was the students, wasn't it? And the other one around that time was Scanners. Fuck you now. Well, I am going to have to call it soon, guys. I'm having trouble. Well, not just supper. I'm having trouble concentrating on the chat with my eyes going in and out of focus. Tremors, yeah. Kevin Bacon.
Footloose.
Footloose was also Kevin Bacon. Fame, that was another one from back then.
The kids loved. Donna couldn't walk. She was in one of these baby walkers because she was, I don't know, 9, 10 months old. And the moment the Fame music came on, she would trundle away from wherever she was to in front of the television because she had to be there to watch it. She loved Fame.
Do you know what, Resist? You say that there. That was the first film that came to mind when I started seeing pictures of the Northern Lights the other night when all the conspiracy theories started. And the original Triffids was a very famous country and western singer and actor. The original film was Howard Keel. Blob was Steve McQueen. Contrary to what people say, it wasn't the first film he was ever in, but it was one of the first. Right, I am going to call that, guys. I am struggling now to read the chat with my eyes. But honestly, this has been a brilliant trip down memory lane. I'm really surprised that I can remember a lot of that. No worries, Marine. Take care, buddy. Be safe out there, mate. Davey Earthstead still, yeah. The remake with Tom Cruise. Was it Tom Cruise? I didn't particularly like that one. Take care, Jen. I dare say we'll catch up tomorrow on Face Ache somewhere. Yeah, it has, Ollie. It has been absolutely brilliant. Magnificent Seven, yeah, Yul Brynner, McQueen. Missy, thank you very much for coming in. But to everybody, thank you very much, as always. One of the most respectful crowds that I see on a live stream.
Before you go,
yeah,
can I just say, there's my link. I will be live on Friday, 7 o'clock. Jen says she'll come and join me. I don't know whether Holly will join me this week because she forgot last week, but you know, hey, I will be on at 7 o'clock on Friday. If you haven't joined, that's my channel.
That's the link to her channel, and I will put it out in the video probably Friday during the day. Good night, Paulette. Take care, my darling. Thank you, Karen. Thank all of you. There was a few there that I'd forgotten, films and series, but once you mention the name, that triggers a memory with me. Oh, dear. Oh, he's starting to sting now. But there we go, guys. Thank you ever so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the videos in the week. If not, those that do drop in, I will see you on Mrs. W's live on Friday night. I'll be lurking around in the comments there somewhere. Quite what's happening Sunday, I don't know whether Pap's going to do a live or not. But if he does let me know, I certainly will let you guys know. But as always, until the next time, good night to you all. And always stay safe, stay strong, and watch what you take from the government now. Because it's all lies and bullshit.
Have a lovely week, people. Enjoy
Take
the
care.
weather if you get it.
Well, I miss Craig. Sorry, mate. We just wanted shutting down.
7 o'clock
Sorry,
Friday,
buddy.
Craig. Me.
7 o'clock Friday, Craig. Mrs. W's live.
That one.
Blokes welcome. Frocks not necessary. That's the link there. Right. Take care, everybody. Have a good what's left of the week. And we'll see you all later.